music?
You need one of these. Just in case you were thinking you were going to just sit here and swill Guinness and not do anything. This play could not happen without the...
I got mine.
I'm not going to take the last night. It was good.
There you go. So you'll see this is basically an audience participation sheet. Oh, see, you weren't at last year's, were you? So you were the year before we didn't do this. Aha. It's more fun now. There. Nimble fingers. I think that's 3. There's a couple. Got boys. You guys. For you. 1 for you. I want to hear nice and loud. 1 for our bartender. And if anyone else comes in while I'm up there yapping, there's more. Okay. Ah, I need one.
Oh, Marc.
Thank you. Okay, so first, thank you everyone for coming to my favorite holiday in the world. It's my favorite holiday of the year. And I love that I just, am forcing this whole community to celebrate some strange thing with me. But what we want to do is go through your part first. These guys have had all the rehearsals they need, but here's your rehearsal. I hope 1 is sufficient. Throughout the play, there are many lines spoken by usually inanimate objects, or at least non-human objects, or beings, or creatures, and you get to do those. And so I'll run through them, and basically the text that you see here that's in italics, I'll be reading as Joyce, the narrator, and I will, when we get to one of those, I'll kind of come forward and let you know that we're getting close, so you can check and say, oh, we're on, number 3 next, or on number 4, wherever we are. They're in order, which, makes it a little easier. Yeah. So, for example, as I'm going along, and most of them are everybody, but there's a couple that we'll do, we'll split between men and women, and if you don't like those categories, feel free to be in whichever category you prefer. For this first one, the calls and the answers, when I say the swan comb of the gondola, high reared, forges on through the murk, white and blue under a lighthouse, whistles call and answer, then we'll hear all the men say, wait, my love, and I'll be with you. And then the women, round behind the stable. Yes, but I won't say, and now the men, go, let's do it. And so, you don't need to really go through all of these. You'll pick it up. There's a couple things though that you'll notice is like the bells. The first bells we hear are big iron bells going slowly, so it's more like hey, oh, hey. And then the chimes of the midnight chimes from distant steeples, number 7, right at the bottom of the page. It goes to the tune of Turn Again, Leopold, Lord Mayor of Dublin. Thank you. Whenever I sing, you guys gotta jump in because then they'll hear me. If you don't. No, you'll pick it up. I mean, the goes sound like goes, and the quoits of a bed sound like a bed with this. You guys know what that sounds like. That spring is going to town. The chorus. When we get to number 9 on the back of the sheets. A choir of 600 voices conducted by Mr. Vincent O'Brien sings the Alleluia chorus. And we're just doing 2 of the Alleluias, and apparently not the first 2, it's number 2 and number 3. So it's going to be, the long one and the short one. So it's Alleluia, Alleluia. And that's it. Perfect. You guys are so The very last one, the hue and the cry, you know, you can pronounce that in a helter skelter, welter, welter fashion. So that he's boom, stop, boom, stop, boom, stop, you know, you can belt that out, yell. You don't have to follow this. You might want to yell something else. And you might want to actually throw cabbage stumps and eggs and tails and dead codfish and loose snappers. Feel free. If you throw codfish, make sure they're dead codfish. In the script. Okay, any questions? No, brilliant. Okay. So, then we start with a very important part of this night. Oh, I just want to say one more thing. This, you may have gone to other plays where you were expected to sit quietly and sit still and not get up. You know, in this play, feel free at any time to get yourself another drink. I will be back there. And, you know, don't worry about disturbing anyone. We're already disturbed. So just go back, you know, have yourself another drink whenever you feel the need. And also, you know, feel free to yell boisterously, even if it's not in the script. You probably won't mess us up too much.
I need another pint.
Yes, I thought it very good. And if you're going to pull off an Irish accent better than I can, go for it. Because somebody needs to make up for me. So, if you've got a beverage, we'll start with the toast, which also comes from Ulysses, right before the beginning of this episode that we do here. So, nice and loudly with gusto. Come on, you wine fizzling, gin sizzling, booze guzzling existences. Come on, you doggone bull neck, veal wrap, hog peanut brain, weasel eye, four fletchers, fossil farms, and excess radish. Come on, you triple extract of infamy. I was blue moldy for want of that. Declared a guy I could hit of my stomach with a kick. The Mabbott Street entrance at Nighttown, before which stretches an uncobbled trend-siding set with skeleton tracks, red and green will-o'-the-wisp and danger signals, rows of flimsy houses with gaping doors, rare lamps with faint rainbow fans, round Rabiati's halted ice gondola, stunted men and women squaddle. They grab wafers between which are wedged lumps of coal and copper snow. Sucking, they scatter slowly. Children. The swan comb of the gondola, high-reared, forges on through the murk, white and blue under a lighthouse. Whistles call and answer.
Wait, my love, I'll be with you.
Down behind the stables.
A pygmy woman swings on a rope slung between the railings, counting. A form sprawled against a dustbin, and muffled by its arm and hat, moves, groans, grinding, growling teeth, and snores again. A plate crashes, a woman screams, a child wails. Figures wander, lurk, peer from warrens. In a room lit by a candle stuck in a bottleneck, a slut combs out the tats from the hair of a scrofulous child. Sissy Caffrey's voice, still young, sings shrill from a lane.
I gave it to Molly because she was jolly. The leg of the duck, the leg of the duck.
Private Cart and Private Compton, swagger sticks tight in their oxters as they march unsteadily, right about face, and burst together from their mouths a volleyed fart.
I gave it to Nellie to stick in her belly. The leg of the duck, the leg of the duck.
Private Cart and Private Compton turn and counter-retort, their tunics blood bright in a lamp glow, black sockets of caps on their blonde copper palls. Stephen Dedalus and Lynch pass through the crowd close to the redcoats.
Way for the parson.
What? Oh, parson!
She has it, she got it, wherever she put it, the leg of the duck.
Stephen, flourishing the ash plant in his left hand, chants with joy the introit for Paschal time. Lynch, his jockey cap low on his brow, attends him, a sneer of discontent wrinkling his face.
Vidi aquam me credientem de templo alatere dextro, alleluia.
The famished snaggletooths of an elderly broad protrude from a doorway.
Come in here, I tell you, maiden, head inside.
Et omnis ad quos pervenit aqua ista.
Trinity medicals, fallopian tube, all prick and no pence.
Salvi factis sunt.
He flourishes his ash plant, shivering the lamp image, shattering light over the world.
So that gesture, not music, not odors, would be a universal language, the gift of tongues rendering visible not the lay sense, but the first entelechy, the structural rhythm. Philosophical bill of theology, metaphysics in Mecklenburg Street. We have Schuerr in Shakespeare, and henpecked Socrates, and even the all-wise Stagirite was bitted, bridled, and mounted by a light of love. Bah! Anyway, who wants two gestures to illustrate a loaf and a jug? This movement illustrates the loaf and the jug of bread and wine and Omar. Hold my stick.
Damn your yellow stick. Where are you going?
Lecherous links to la belle dame sans merci. Georgina Johnson, ad deum qui latificat juventutem mea.
Stephen thrusts the ash plant on him and slowly holds out his hands, his head going back till both hands are a span from his breast, downturned in planes intersecting, the fingers about to part, the left being higher.
Which is the jug of bread? It skills not. Here, take your crutch and walk.
From drains, clefts, cesspools, middens, arise on all sides stagnant fumes. A glow leaps in the south beyond the seaward reaches of the river. On the farther side of the railway bridge, Bloom appears, flushed, panting, cramming bread and chocolate into a side pocket. Then, bending to one side, he presses a parcel against his rib and groans.
Stitch in my side. Why did I run?
He takes breath with care and goes forward slowly towards the lampset siding. The glow leaps again.
What's that? A flasher? A searchlight? Aurora Borealis or a steel foundry? Ah, the brigade, of course. South side, anyhow. Big blaze.
A cake of clean lemon soap arises, diffusing light and perfume. Where I
Couple are luminary, be bright as the earth, like polish the sky.
Mrs. Green, in man's frieze overcoat with loose bellows pockets, stands in the causeway, her roguish eyes wide open, smiling in all her herbivorous buck teeth.
Mr. Bloom! You! Down here in the haunts of sin! I caught you nicely!
Not so loud, my name. Whatever do you think of me? Don't give me away. Walls have ears. How do you do? It's ages since I... You're looking splendid. Absolutely it. Seasonable weather we're having around here this time of year. But blackberry fresh heat. Shortcut home here. Interesting quarter. Rescue fallen women, Magdalene Asylum. I am the secretary.
Don't you tell a big fib! I know somebody won't like it one bit. Oh, just wait till I see Molly. Account for yourself this very minute, or woe betide you!
She often said she'd like to visit slumming the exotic, you see. A little frivolity, if you're so inclined. Would you like me to perhaps embrace you for just a fraction of a second?
Oh, you rook! You ought to see yourself!
Oh, for old sake's sake. I only meant a square party, a mixed marriage mingling of our different little conjugals. You know, I always had a soft corner for you. It was I that sent you that valentine of the dear gazelle.
Oh, poor house. You do look a holy show. Even simply.
Oh, how time flies by. Do you remember hearkening back on a retrospective arrangement, old Christmas night, Georgina Simpson's housewarming? Well, they were playing the Irving Bishop game, finding the pin blindfold and thought reading. Subject, what is in this snuff box?
Oh, you are the lion of the night with your stereocomic recitation, and you look the part you always were, a favorite with the ladies.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Ireland, home, and beauty.
Oh, that dear dead days beyond recall, love's old sweet song.
I confess I'm teapot with curiosity to find out whether some person something is teapot at present.
Tremendously teapot!
Oh, and simply teapot all over me. Oh, after the parlor mystery games and the crackers from the tree we sat on the staircase under the mistletoe. Two is company.
The witching hour of night. I took the splinter out of his hand, carefully, slowly. Lacidarum lamano.
Oh, vocally unknown. You're hot. You're scalding. Oh, the left hand nearest the heart.
I want to tell you a little secret about how I came to be here, but you must never tell, not even Molly. I have a most particular reason.
Oh, not for worlds.
Do you remember, a long time ago, years and years ago, just after Marionette we called her, it was Weed and we all went together to the various races, was it?
Leopardstown.
I mean Leopardstown. And Molly won 7 shillings on a 3-year-old named Nevertell. And coming home along by Foxrock in that old 5-seater Chandler, a dam of a wagonette. You were in your heyday then, and you had on that new hat of white velours with the surround of Mulver that Mrs. Hayes advised you to buy because it was marked down to 1911. A bit of wire and an old rag about you. And I'll lay you what you like, she did it on purpose.
Well, of course she did, the cat.
No, because it didn't suit you 1/4 as well as the other tiny little toad with the bird of paradise wing on it that I admired on you. And you honestly looked just too fetching in it too. It was a pity to kill it, you cruel creature. Little mite of a thing with a heart the size of a bullstock.
Oh, naughty cool I was.
And Molly was eating a sandwich of spiced beef out of Mrs. Joe Gallagher's lunch basket. Frankly, she had her admirers and advisors. I never cared much for her style. She was...
True.
Yes. And Molly was laughing because Rogers and Maggot O'Reilly were mimicking a cock as we passed the farmhouse and Marcus Tertius Moses. The tea merchant drove past us in a gig with her daughter. Dancer Moses was her name, and the poodle in her lap riding up. And you asked me if I'd ever heard
Yes.
or read
Yes.
or came across.
Yes.
She fades from his side. Gaudy doll woman loll in the lighted doorways and window embrasures, smoking bird's eye cigarettes. The odor of the sick sweet weed floats towards him in slow, round, ovaling wreaths. Sweet are the sweets, sweetest of sin. A covey of gulls, storm petrels rises hungrily from liffey slime with banberry cakes in their beaks. The brass quoits of a bed are heard to jiggle. I knew you knew it sounded like. The bells of George's church toll slowly, loud, dark iron. Zoe Higgins, a young whore in a sapphire slip, trips down the steps in a costume.
Are you looking for someone? He's inside.
Is this Mrs. Max?
No, 81, Mrs. Collins. You might go farther and fare worse. Mother slipper slapper. She's on the job herself tonight with the vet and tipster. It gives her all the winners and pays for her son in Oxford. Working overtime, but her luck's turned today. You're not his father, are you?
Not I.
You're both in black. Has little Mousy any tickles tonight?
His skin, alert, feels her fingertips approach. A hand slides over his left thigh.
How's the nuts?
Offside. Curiously, they're on the right. Heavier, I suppose. 1 in a million, my tailor says.
Hard pepper.
Not likely.
I feel it.
Her hand slides into his left trouser pocket and brings out a hard, black, shriveled potato. She regards it and Bloom with dumb, moist lips.
A talesman. Heirloom.
For Zoe. For keeps. For being so nice, eh?
She puts the potato greedily into a pocket, then links his arm, cuddling him with supple warmth. He smiles uneasily. Slowly, note by note, Oriental music is played. He gazes in the tawny crystal of her eyes, ringed with kohol. His smile softens.
You'll know me the next time.
Oh, I never loved a dear gazelle, but it was sure to.
Gazelles are leaping, feeding on the mountains near our lakes. Round their shores file shadows black of cedar groves. Aroma rises, a strong hair growth of resin. It burns, the orient, white, still, cool in luxury. A fountain murmurs among damask roses. Mammoth roses murmur of scarlet wine grapes. A wine of shame, lust, blood exudes, strangely murmuring.
Have you a swagger root?
Oh, rarely smoke, dear. Cigar now and then.
The childish device, the mouth, can better be engaged than with a cylinder of rank weed.
Go on, make a stump speech out of it.
Mankind is incorrigible. Sir Walter Raleigh brought from that new world that potato and that weed, the one a killer of pestilence by absorption, the other a poisoner of the eye, ear, heart, memory, will, understanding, all. That is to say, he brought the poison 100 years before another person, whose name I forget, brought the food. Suicide, lies, all our habits. Why, look at our public life.
Midnight chimes from distant steeples. Turn again, Leopold, Lord Mayor of Dublin.
The lectors of Arundel, Innscale, Rotunda, Mountjoy, and North Dock better run a trampoline, I say, from the cattle market to the river. That's the music of the future. That's my program.
The aurora borealis of the torchlight procession leaps. Hooray!
Flying Dutchmen or lying Dutchmen as they recline in their upholstered poop. What reck they? Machines is their cry, their chimera, their panacea. Labor-saving apparatuses, supplanters, bugbears, manufactured monsters for mutual murder. Hideous hobgoblins produced by a horde of capitalistic lusts upon our prostituted labor. The poor man starves while they are grassing their royal mountain stags or shooting peasants and partridges and their purblind pump of pelf and power. But their reign is over forever and ever and ever.
A choir of 600 voices conducted by Mr. Vincent O'Brien sings the Alleluia chorus. Alleluia, Alleluia. Bloom becomes mute, shrunken, carbonized.
Talk away till you're black in the face.
All insanity. Patriotism sour for the dead music future of the race. Be or not to be. Life's street is o'er. End it peacefully. They can live on. I am ruined. A few pastilles of aconite. The blinds drawn. A letter. Then lie back to rest. No more. I have lived. Farewell.
Honest? Till next time. I suppose you got off the wrong side of the bed or came too quick with your best girl. Oh, I can read your thoughts.
Man and woman love. What is it? A cork and bottle.
Hate a rotter that's insincere. Give a bleeding whore a chance.
I am very disagreeable. You are a necessary evil. Where are you from? London?
Hogs Norton, where pigs play the organ. I'm Yorkshire born. Have you cash for a short time? 10 shillings.
Oh, more, Maureen, more.
And Moore's mother. Are you coming into the music room to see our new pianola? Come, and I'll peel off.
With little parted talons, she captures his hand, her forefinger giving to his palm the past touch of secret monitor, luring him to doom.
Hot hands, cold gizzard.
He hesitates, amid scents, music, temptations. She leads him towards the steps, drawing him by the odor of her armpits, the vice of her painted eye. The rustle of her slip in whose sinuous folds lurks the lie and reek of all the male brutes that have possessed her. The male brutes exhaling sulphur of rot and dung and ramping in their loose box, faintly roaring, their drugged heads swaying to and fro. Zoe and Bloom reach the doorway where two sister whores are seated. They examine him curiously from under their penciled brows and smile to his hasty bow. He trips awkwardly.
Whoops, don't fall upstairs.
The just man falls 7 times. After you is good manners.
Ladies first, gentlemen after.
She crosses the threshold. He hesitates. She turns and, holding out her hands, draws him over. The floor is covered with an oilcloth mosaic of jade and azure and cinnabar rhomboids. Footmarks are stamped over it in all senses, heel to heel, toe to toe, heel to hollow, feet locked, a morris of shuffling feet without body phantoms, all in a scrimmage higgledy-piggledy. Lynch squats cross-legged on the hearth rug of matted hair, his cap back to the front. Kitty Ricketts, a bony pallid whore in navy costume, doe-skin gloves rolled back from a coral wristlet, a chain purse in her hand, sits perched on the edge of the table, swinging her leg and glancing at herself in the gilt mirror over the mantelpiece.
She's a bit absurd. Blam blam. Oh, excuse me.
Sorry, I'm going to keep you. Stephen stands at the pianola, on which sprawl his hat and ash plant. With 2 fingers, he repeats once more this series of empty fifths. Flurry Talbot, a blonde, feeble, goose-fat whore in tattered Italian gown and mildewed strawberry, louse Fred Eagle on the sofa corner, forearm pendant over the bolster listening.
Oh, excuse me. As a matter of fact, it is of no importance whether Benedetto Marcello found it or made it. The right is the poet's rest. It may be an old hymn to Demeter, or also illustrate Coela and around Gloriam Domini. It is susceptible of nodes or modes as far apart as Hyperphrygian and Mixolydian, and of texts so divergent as priests high hooping round David's, that is to say, Circe's, no, what am I saying? Ceres' altar, and David's tip from the stable to his chief bassoonist about his almightiness. May, that is another pair of trousers. What went forth to the ends of the world to traverse not itself? God, the Son, Shakespeare. A commercial traveler, having itself traversed in reality itself, becomes that self. Wait a second. Oh, damn that fellow's noise in the street. Self, which in itself was ineluctably preconditioned to become.
What a learned speech, eh?
God help your head, he knows more than you have forgotten.
With obese stupidity, Florrie Talbot regards Stephen.
They say the last day is coming this summer.
Oh. No! Great unjust God.
Well, it was in the papers about Antichrist. Oh, my foot's tickling.
Times and half a time.
Reuben J. Antichrist, wandering Jew, a clutching hand open on his spine, stumps forward. Across his loins is slung a pilgrim's wallet from which protrude promissory notes and dishonored bills. Aloft over his shoulder, he bears a long boat pole, from the hook of which the sodden, huddled mass of his only son, saved from liffey waters, hangs from the slack of its breeches. A rocket rushes up the sky and bursts. A white star falls from it, proclaiming the consummation of all things and second coming of Elijah. Along an infinite, invisible tightrope, taught from zenith to nadir, the end of the world. A 2-headed octopus, in kilt, busby, and tartan philibegs, whirls through the murk head over heels. Over the passing drift and choking breath coughs, Elijah's voice, harsh as a corncrake's, jars on high.
No yapping, if you please, in this booth. Jake Crane, Creole Sue, Dave Campbell, Abe Kirchner, you do your coughing with your mouth shut. Say, I am operating this trunk line. Boys, do it now. God's time is 12:25. Tell your mother you'll be there. Rush your odor and play this slick ace. Join on right here. Book through to Eternity Junction, the non-stop run. Just one more word. Are you a god or a doggone clod? If the second advent of Christ came to Coney Island, are we ready? Flory Christ, Stephen Christ, Zoe Christ, Kitty Christ. It's up to you to sense that cosmic force. Have we cold feet about the cosmos? No. Be on the side of the angels. Be a prism. You have that something within the higher self. Are you all in this vibration? I say you are. You once novel that congregation and a buck joyride to heaven becomes a back number. You got me. It's a life brightener for sure. The hottest stuff ever was. It's the whole pie with jam in. Oh, it is immense. It is super sumptuous. It restores. It vibrates. I know I am some vibrator. Joking apart and down to bedrock. A.J. Christ Darwin and the harmonial philosophy. Have you got that? Okay. 77 West 69th Street. Got me? That's it. You call me up by sun phone any old time. Bumboozers, save your stamps. Now then, our glorious song. All join heartily. Big brother up there, Mr. President, you don't hear what I've been saying to you. Certainly I sort of believe strong in you, Mr. President. I am certainly thinking now Miss Higgins and Miss Ricketts got religion way inside them. Certainly seems to me I don't never see no more worse scared female than you being Miss Flora just now as I done seen you. Mr. President, come along and help me save our sisters dear.
I forgot myself for a weak moment and did what I did on Constitution Hill. It was working plumber who was my ruination, and I was pure.
I let him larrup it into me for the fun of it.
It was in consequence of a port wine beverage on top of Hennessy's 3 stars. I was guilty with Waylon when he slipped into my bed.
In the beginning was the Word. In the end, the world without end. Blessed be the 8 Beatitudes.
The Beatitudes, Dixon, Madden, Crothers, Costello, Lenahan, Bannon, Mulligan, and Lynch in white surgical students' gowns four abreast, goose-stepping, tramp fast past, and noisy marching. Here we
Sing us something, love's old sweet song.
No voice. I am a most finished artist.
The Siamese twins, Philip drunk and Philip sober, 2 Oxford dons with lawnmowers appear in the window embrasure. Both are masked with Matthew Arnold's face.
Take a fool's advice. All's not well. Working out with the butt end of a pencil like a good young idiot. £3.12, you got 2 notes, 1 sovereign, 2 crowns, if you but no. I am watching you.
Ah, bosh, man. Go to hell. I paid my way. If I could only find out about octaves, reduplication of personality. Who was it that told me his name? Had I a notion I was here before? Was it not Atkinson that his card I had somewhere? Mac somebody. On Mac, I have it. He told me about, hold on, Swinburne, was it? No.
And the song?
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
There was a priest down here 2 nights ago to do his bit of business with his coat buttoned up. You needn't try to hide, I says to him. I know you've got Roman color.
I hope you gave the good father a penance. 9 glorias for shooting the bishop.
He couldn't get a connection. Only, sensation, a dry rush.
Oh, poor man.
And Mary Shut, oh, that was in lock with the posh she got from Jimmy Pigeon in the blue caps. Had a child off him that couldn't swallow and was smothered with convulsions in a mattress, and we also was subscribed for the funeral. And to such delight has Metcalf inoculated anthropoid apes.
Locomotor, a taxi.
Oh, my dictionary.
3 wise virgins.
You would have preferred the fighting parson who founded the Protestant era. But beware Antisthenes, the dog sage, and the last end of Arius Heresiarchus, agony in the closet.
All one and the same God to her.
And sovereign lord of all things.
I'm sure you are a spoiled priest. Or a monk.
He is a cardinal's son.
Cardinal sin, monks of the school.
A firm heel clacking is heard on the stairs. The trick door handle turns. The door opens. Bella Cohen, a massive poor mistress, enters. She is dressed in 3/4 ivory gown, fringed round the hem with tasseled selvage, and cools herself, flirting a black horn fan like Minnie Hawk and Carmen.
Oh, my word. I'm all a muck sweat. Which one of you is playing the dead march from Saul?
Me, mind your cornflowers.
Give me back that potato, will you?
Forfeit's a fine thing and a superfine thing.
It's nothing, but still the relic of a poor mama.
Give the thing, take it back. God will ask you where's that. You'll say you don't know. God will send you down below.
There's a memory attached to it. I should like to have it.
To have or not to have, that is the question.
Here.
She hauls up a reef of her slip, revealing her bare thigh, and unrolls the potato from the top of her stocking.
Those that hides nowhere to find.
Here, this isn't a musical peep show. And don't you smash that piano. Who's paying here?
She goes to the pianola. Stephen fumbles in his pocket and, taking out a banknote by its corner, hands it to her.
This silken purse I made out of the sows here of the public. Madam, excuse me. If you will allow me, we are in the same sweepstakes. Kinch and Lynch. Don't say bordel ou tenor nostre état.
Dedalus, give her your blessing for me.
Gold, she has it.
Do you want 3 girls? It's 10 shillings here.
100,000 apologies. My sight is somewhat troubled.
Bella goes to the table to count the money, while Stephen talks to himself in monosyllables. Zoe bounds over to the table. Kitty leans over Zoe's neck. Lynch gets up, rights his cap, and clasping Kitty's waist, adds his head to the group.
Ow, my foot's asleep.
She limps over to the table. Bloom approaches.
The gentleman.
10 shillings!
The gentleman pays separate.
Paying for these 3, allow me a moment.
Are you staying the whole night or just a short time?
You're a liar.
Who did?
The gentleman paid like a gentleman.
It's gone after 11.
No bottles. What, 11? A riddle. The fox crew, the cocks flew, the bells in heaven were striking 11. It is time for our poor souls to get out of them.
So allow me. 3 times 10. We're square.
Oh, you're such a sly old cookie. I could kiss you.
Bloom goes with a pound note to Stephen.
This is yours.
Oh, how is that? Laid astray? Or absent-minded beggar?
That fell. You had better let me hand over that cash to take care of. Why pay more?
Be just before you are generous.
I will, but isn't wise. 1, 7, 11, and 5, 6, 11. I don't answer for what you might have lost.
Why striking 11? Proper oxygen. Moment before the next lesson says, thirsty fox. Parahi's grandmother. Probably he killed her.
That is £1.6 and 11. £1.7, say.
Doesn't matter, a rambling dam.
No, but
Cigarette, please. And so, Georgina Johnson is dead and married. Oh, wonder. Parlor matter.
You would have a better chance of lighting it if you held the match nearer.
Linkshire. Must get glasses. Broke them yesterday. 16 years ago. Distance. Eye sees all flat. Brain thinks, near, far. Ineluctable modality of the visible. Sphinx. Beast that has 2 backs at me.
don't smoke. You ought to eat. You have nothing.
Is he hungry? Hamlet, I am thy father's gimlet. Blue-eyed beauty, I'll read your hand. No wit, no wrinkles. 2, 3, Mars, that's courage. No kin.
Sheet lightning courage. The youth who could not shiver and shake, who touch a palmistry.
Ask my balance that I haven't got. I see it in your face.
Oh, continue, lie, hold me, caress. I never could read his handwriting except for his criminal thumbprint on the hat.
What day were you born?
Thursday. Today.
Thursday's child has far to go. Line of fate, influential friends.
Imagination.
Mount of the moon. You'll meet with a... I won't tell you what's not good for you. Or do you want to know?
More harm than good. Here, read mine.
A show! Oh, I thought so. Knobby knuckles for the ladies.
Gridiron. Travels beyond the sea and married money.
Wrong.
Oh, I see. Short little finger. Hen-pecked husband. That wrong?
Black Liz, a huge rooster hatching in a chalk circle rises, stretches her wings and clucks. God!
That wheel here is an accident. It fell and cut it 22 years ago. I was 16.
I see, says the blind man.
See? Moves to 1 grade go. I am 22 to 16 years ago. I, 22, tumbled 22 years ago. He, 16, fell off his hobby horse. Queens lay with prize bulls. Remember Pasiphae, for whose lust my grandolrose father made the first confession box. And forget not Madame Grisel Stevens, nor the Suine scions of the house of Lambert. And Noah was drunk with wine. And his heart was open.
And none of that here. You come to the wrong shop.
Let him alone. He's back from Paris.
Ooh, go on, give us some parley-vous.
Stephen claps hat on head and leaps over to the fireplace, where he stands with shrugged shoulders, finny hands outspread, a painted smile on his face.
Thousands places of entertainment through your expenses evenings with lovely ladies and sailing clubs and other things. Perhaps hard beer chops, perfect fashionable for women dancing can-can and walking their Parisian calories. Extra foolish for bachelors' forens. Same if... all cheek women arrive with modesty, then disrobe and squeal to see a vampire man debauching on, very fresh, young, with the so raw. Hola, si pifquera.
Viva la
Great success of laughing. Angels much prostitutes like. And holy apostles, big damn ruffians, demi-mondaines, nicely dressed nicely, handsome, sparkling with diamonds, very amiable. Kachuk statue, or woman reversible, or life-size Tom Pete Toms. Virgins' nudities, very lesbic. Kiss 5-10 times. Enter gentlemen to see mirrors every position, trapezes, all the machine there. Besides, also, if desired, act awfully bestial. Butcher boys, flute and warm beetle liver, and or omelet on the belly of
Omelet on the...
I love you, sir, darling. Speak you Englishman tongue for Tom cordial. Oh yes, mon loup. How much cost? Waterloo. Omelet? Omelet? Mark me. I dreamt of a watermelon.
Go abroad and love a foreign lady.
Across the world for a wife.
Dreams go by contraries.
It was here, Street of Harlots and Serpentine Avenue, that Beelzebub showed me her, a fubsy widow. Where's the red carpets? Look. No, I flew. My foes beneath me, and ever shall be. The world without end. Pater! Free!
I say, look.
Break my spirit, Willie. Oh, Mary the Lord! Where? Here, home.
Oh, dance, dance. Who has 2 heads?
Yeah.
Oh,
Quick, where's my other from?
dance. Anybody here for there? Who'll dance?
The pianola with changing lights plays in waltz time the prelude to My Girl's a Yorkshire Girl. Stephen throws his ash plant on the table and seizes Zoe around the waist. Florrie and Bella push the table towards the fireplace. Stephen, aiming Zoe with exaggerated grace, begins to waltz her around the room. Between the curtains, Professor McGeaney inserts a leg on the toe point of which spins a silk hat. With a deft kick, he sends it spinning to his crown, and jaunty-hatted skates in. He wears a slate frock coat of claret silk lapels, a gullet of cream tulle, a green low-cut waistcoat, stock collar with white kerchief, tight lavender trousers, patent pumps, and canary gloves. In his buttonhole is a dahlia. He twirls in reverse directions a clouded cane, then wedges it tight in his oxter. He places a hand limply on his breastbone, bows, and fondles his flower and buttons.
Le poetry of motion, art of calisthenics, no connection with Madame Legette Burns or Levinstone's. Fancy dress balls arranged, deportment, the Captain Lannister steps. So, watch me, my terpsichorean abilities. Tout le monde, en avant, reverence, tout le monde, en passe.
From a corner, the morning hours run out. Gold-haired, slim, and girlish blue, wasp-waisted, with innocent hands. Nimbly they dance, twirling their skipping ropes. The hours of noon follow in amber gold.
Coway, avant-du, breeze evening, pass.
The morning and noon hours waltz in their places, turning, advancing to each other, shaping their curves, bowing vis-a-vis. Cavaliers behind them arch and suspend their arms, with hands descending to, touching, rising from their shoulders.
You may touch my...
May I touch yours?
Oh, but lightly.
Oh, so lightly. Zoe and Bloom turn boldly with looser swing. The twilight hours advance from long, lank shadows, dispersed, lagging, languid-eyed, their cheeks delicate with cypria and false, faint bloom.
Avant oui, traversez, salut, cordonnant, crosset.
The 8 hours steal to the last place. Morning, noon, and twilight hours retreat before them. They are masked, with daggered hair and bracelets of dull bells.
La Tira, Charledon, La Corbier, Dos Adu.
Arabesquing wearily, they weave a pattern on the floor, weaving, unweaving, curtsying, twisting, simply swirling.
Boulanger, Laurent, La Pente, Chapeau de Bois, Escargot.
Twining, receding with interchanging hands, the night hours link with each arching arms in a mosaic of movements. Stephen and Florrie turn cumbrously.
Danser et bête comme ça. Change de date. Donnez le petit bouquet à votre nom. Remercier.
Oh, they play on the hobby horses in the Muser.
She runs to Stephen. He leaves Florrie brusquely and seizes Kitty. A screaming bitterns, high, harsh whistle shrieks.
Passou!
He wheels Kitty into Lynch's arm, snatches up his ash plant from the table, and takes the floor. All wheel, whirl, waltz, twirl, bloom, bella, Kitty, Lynch, Florrie, Zoe, jujubee women, Stephen with hat, ash plant, frog splits in middle, high kicks with sky kicking, mouth shut, hard, clasp, hard, hand, under thigh, with clang, tinkle, boom, hammer, tally, ho, horn blower, blue, green, yellow flashes.
Dance of death!
The couples fall aside. Stephen whirls giddily, room whirls back. Eyes close, he totters. Red rails fly spacewards. Stars all around. Suns turn round about. Bright midges dance on wall. He stops dead.
Oh!
Stephen's mother, emaciated, rises stark through the floor in upper gray with a wreath of faded orange blossoms and a torn bridal veil. Her face worn and noseless, green with grave mold. She fixes her blue-circled hollow eye sockets on Stephen.
I was once the beautiful May Golding. I am dead.
Lemur, who are you? What boogeyman's trick is this?
All must go through it, Stephen. You too. Time will come.
They said I killed you, Mother, but cancer did it, not I. Destiny.
Oh, you sang that song to me. Love's bitter mystery.
Tell me the word, Mother, if you know now, the word known to all men.
Who saved you the night you jumped into the train with Dalkey and Paddy Lee? Who had pity for you when you were sad among the strangers? Prayer is all powerful. Prayer for the suffering souls in the Ursuline manual and 40 days indulgence. Repent, Stephen.
The ghoul! The hyena!
I pray for you in my other world. Years and years I loved you. Oh, my son, my firstborn, when you lay in my womb. Oh, repent. Oh, the fire of hell.
The corpse chewer! We're raw-headed and bloody blown!
Beware.
She raises her black and withered arm slowly towards Stephen's breast with outstretched fingers.
Beware God's hand!
A green crab with malignant red eyes sticks deep its grinning claws in Stephen's heart.
Try! What? Non serviam!
Oh, Sacred Heart! Jesus, have mercy on him! Save him from hell, oh Sacred Heart! Oh, Divine Heart!
No, bring my spirit. All of you, if you can. I'll bring you all to him.
Have mercy on Stephen, Lord, for my sake!
Nothing!
He hits his hash plant high with both hands and smashes the chandelier. Time's livid final flame leaps, and in the following darkness, ruin of all space, shattered glass and toppling masonry.
Stop!
Police!
Here, hold on, don't run him up!
After him!
Stephen, abandoning his ash plant, beats the ground and flees from the room. The horrors rush to the hall doors. Bloom follows. On the doorsteps, all the horrors cluster talk volubly, pointing to the right where the fog is cleared off. Bloom, parting them swiftly, hurries down the steps with sideways face. The ash plant marches astride. A pack of bloodhounds, led by Hornblower of Trinity, brandishing a dog whip in tally-ho cap and an old pair of gray trousers, follows from far. He walks, runs, zigzags, gallops. He is pelted with gravel, cabbage stumps, biscuit boxes, eggs, potatoes, dead codfish, women, slipper slappers.
He's
Corner of Beaver Street beneath the scaffolding, Bloom panting, stops on the fringe of a noisy whirling knot, a lot not knowing a jot what high row and wrangle round the who what brawl all together.
You are my guests, the uninvited, by virtue of the 5th of George and 7th of Edward. History to play.
Was he insulting you?
I was in company with soldiers and they left me and the young man ran up behind me. But I'm faithful to the man that's treating me, though I'm only a shilling whore.
Poetic, neo-poetic.
He doesn't have one, a thick ear, the blighter. Bit of one, Harry.
Was he insulting you while me and him was having a piss?
Bit of him, Harry.
Say, how would it be, Governor, if I was to bash in your jaw?
How? Very unpleasant. Personally, I detest action. There's some trouble going on here. What is it precisely?
Come now, Professor. The Carmen is waiting.
Why should I not speak to him or to any human being who walks upright on this oblate orange? I'm not afraid of what I can talk to if I see his eye, retaining the perpendicular.
Retain your own.
My center of gravity is displaced. I've forgotten the trick. Let us sit down somewhere and discuss. Struggle for life is the law of existence, but modern Falerianists, notably the Tsar King of England, have invented arbitration. You see, but it is in here that I must kill the priest and the king.
What's that you're saying about my king?
I understand your point of view. Though I have no king for myself for the moment, a discussion is difficult down here, but here is the point. You die for your country. Suppose, not that I wish it for you, but I say, let my country die for me. Up to the present, it has done so. I don't want it to die. It is a damn death. Long live life. Kings and unicorns. Come somewhere and we'll... What was that girl saying?
Air, give him a kick in the knackers. Stick one into Jerry.
He doesn't know what he's saying. Taking a little more than is good for him. Absent the green-eyed monster, I know him. He's a gentleman, a poet. It's all right.
Gentleman, poet, scholar, and judge of impostors.
I don't give a bugger who he is.
We don't give a bugger who he is.
I seem to annoy them. Green right to a book.
Come home, you'll get into trouble.
I don't avoid it. He provokes my intelligence.
Yeah. What are you saying about my king?
This is too monotonous. Nothing. He wants my money and my life. The want must be his master for some brutish empire of his. Money I haven't. I gave it to someone.
Who wants your bleeding money?
Will someone tell me where I am least likely to find these necessary evils?
I'll wring the neck of any bugger says a word against my fucking king.
He said nothing, not a word, a pure misunderstanding.
Go it, Harry. Do him one in the eye.
I'll do him in.
Fair play here. Make a bleeding butcher shop over him.
They're going to fight for me.
The harlots cry from street to street, shall weave old Ireland winding sheet.
I'll wring the neck of any fucking bastard who says a word against my bleeding fucking king.
Come along before worse happens. Here's your stick.
Stick? No. Reason. This feast of pure reason.
Come on, your booze. He insulted me, but I forgive him. I forgive him for insulting me.
Yes, see, go. You see, he's incapable.
I'll insult him. He rushes towards Stephen, fist outstretched, and strikes him in the face. Stephen totters, collapses, falls stunned. He lies prone, his face to the sky, his hat rolling to the wall. Bloom follows and picks it up.
Here, bugger off, Harry. That's the cops.
Bloom, holding in his hand Stephen's hat festooned with shavings and ash plant, stands irresolute. Then he bends to him and shakes him by the shoulder.
Hey, oh, Mr. Dedalus. Stephen! Stephen!
Who? The Black Panther, the vampire. Who drive furthest now? And pierce woods woven sheep?
Poetry. Well educated. Pity. Not hurt anyhow. What? What?
The shadow.
Shadows. The woods. White breast. Dim.
Stephen stretches out his arms, sighs again, and curls his body. Bloom, holding his hat and ash plant, stands erect. A dog barks in the distance. Bloom looks down on Stephen's face and form.
Face reminds me of his poor mother. In the shady wood, a deep white breast. A girl, some girl. Best thing that could happen to him. Swear that I will always hail, ever conceal, never reveal any part art or arts in the rough sands of the sea. A cable tolls length from the shore, where the tide ebbs and flows.
Silent, thoughtful, alert, he stands on guard, his fingers at his lips in the attitude of secret master. Against the dark wall, a figure appears slowly. A fairy boy of 11, a changeling, kidnapped, dressed in an Eton suit with glass shoes and a little bronze helmet, holding a book in his hand. He reads from right to left, inaudibly, smiling, kissing the page.
My son! Rudy!
Rudy gazes unseen into Bloom's eyes and goes on reading, kissing, smiling. He has a delicate mauve face. On his suit he has diamond and ruby buttons. A white lambkin peeps out of his waistcoat pocket. Thank you all for coming. The bar is still open, filed and ready to work. And thank you.
Thank you.